Hi, thank you for joining us for this episode of Shining Stars. I'm Shantal Taylor, your host. I'm so excited today to have with us our very first author on our show to feature the wonderful things that this local author has shared within the community within this book. Today we have with us T.S. Newsome, author of Tried in the Fire. She's T.S. Newsome, author, but I'll call her Keisha. Hi, Keisha. Thank you
Hi,
so much for being with us
thank you for
today.
having
This
me.
is just going to be a real fun time because everyone will have an opportunity to not only learn who you are, those that don't know, but the powerful message that we are going to learn today from sharing great insight of a book that Keisha has written concerning domestic violence in regards to someone that she met online and developed a relationship that turned into a 7 year tumultuous event in her life that now she is here to share with us all the victory and all the success. And
Amen.
I'm just hoping that this will just make a connection for so many out there that knows a sister, a cousin, a friend, a coworker that may be going through something very similar. At the end of the show, or even at the beginning, you'll probably see right at the bottom line on there, you'll be able to see where you can order this book, Tried in the Fire by T.S. Newsome. So, Keisha, we're just going to lay this book right here, and we're just going to, just have a few moments of just sharing with Lake County, Illinois, across the nation. What is it like to look at this book that you have written, look at your beautiful children, interact with your awesome parents, and just knowing everything that you have been through? Just, take us to day one. Let's just go back to when you left home after your dad had kind of shared with you that you're not going to be hurting my wife's feelings being disrespectful.
Right.
Um, take us to that moment.
So, I have to take a step back and talk about, my emotions and my feelings and everything during that time because um, I was just in a broken
Yes.
place already. So, anything negative that came at me, I was just trying to run from it.
Right. Right.
And when my dad said those words, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna show him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get up
Mhm.
out of here. They don't care about me. And I had this person in my ear telling
Mhm.
me that stuff already. Your parents don't care about you. You
Right.
need to be with me. I love you. I want to be with you. I'll help you raise your daughter. You don't have anyone, so just come be with me. And so that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. When he said that, it was just like, I'm out of
Wow.
here. I'm leaving.
Right. I'm
You know,
leaving my mom. I'm leaving my dad. I'm gonna move off to this place with
just
this new
crazy.
guy. Guy.
Like I'm leaving my safety,
Exactly.
security, all my support and everything to
Exactly.
go be with this person, thinking that I was finally going to be free.
Right. Now, this is my first time doing an author as a local Lake County Shining Star. So, as you see me pick the book up or whatever, I do it because number one, I'm really excited about it. But number two, let's just take a step back again. We just talked about one of the scenes that is in the book early on in the book. Great read, great easy read. So be sure to order it. You can order it at Amazon, or Keisha will have a link also that we will get to you. But I have to share that this relationship, it happened, but Keisha comes from a very solid background. So if something like this can happen to this young woman that you'll hear her story and read about it, if something like this can happen to her, whose father is a lawyer and whose mother serves as an alderwoman, seasoned Christians that put all their hope and faith in God, baby sister of two great big brothers, right? If something like this that we're going to talk about today could happen to her, it can happen to anyone. And so we're going to step back into Keisha's world here. I just wanted to interject on that a little bit. So just kind of so you left and yeah.
I did, thinking that, I'm free, I'm going to be able to live my life and do what I want to do and not have to answer to anyone or, take anybody's advice on whether I should do this or do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not the case when I got
Yes.
there.
Yes. When you got there, it immediately I see how he tried to in the relationship, because he was, basically just your boyfriend, right?
Right.
Okay, and he immediately just kind of had you doing some. I mean, I read the one scene where you. I'm already talking about it like it's like it could be a movie.
That's my hope.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking about the one scene where it was 100 degrees and he had you walk into the store,
Right.
with a
With the
hoodie
coat.
on, with a sweater on, and you knew for whatever reason that you were not to take that off. And
Right.
just describe to us being enveloped in that moment.
So, I have to say that when I got there, the tactic that he used was he isolated me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not allowed to call my family or talk to any of my friends or anything like that. And that's just a trick of the enemy. When you're isolated, it breaks you down. When you don't have anyone to talk to
Mm-hmm.
or anyone to communicate with, I have my daughter. You kind of
Right.
go a little stir crazy. I couldn't really go outside or anything like that. So it was just me by myself. So that wears on your mental and your emotional state. So when he sent me out to walk, most people will say, "Shoot, when I walk out this door, I'm taking this coat off. He must think I'm crazy."
Right.
And I actually had that thought for a second. I'm gonna take this
Mm-hmm.
off and I'm gonna walk because it's just too hot out here. But
Right.
something told me, don't do it.
Wow.
Just do it.
Okay.
So
Because at this point, he had already had you calling your loved ones, asking them for money just out of the clear blue sky. And
mhm,
so he just really had some really serious mind control happening on
absolutely.
you now, how old were you at this time?
I was about 26,
Okay.
25, 26,
Okay.
27.
Okay.
I was 26 when I met him.
Okay. So I remember, not only how when you first met, Keisha mentions how when she first met him, he was very complimentary and asking her what her goals and what her purpose was in life. And he would just continually keep her on the phone from sunrise to sunset. If she had to like change her brand new baby girl's diaper or whatever, he would say, I'll wait, and, have to wait. I remember one time where he didn't want her to go to her brother's was having a baby shower.
Right.
They were having a new baby and he didn't want her to go to the baby shower. It was just all these different things that right early on in the beginning of this relationship that led to some really tumultuous events that, Keisha just kind of pushed through without getting the warning signs. I think one time your grandmother had sent you an email,
Right.
and basically what broke again, as you had shared, what broke the camel's back was when you had spoken to your mother in a way that was quite disrespectful. And
Mhm.
so actually in her father's book, this was like strike two of hurting the people that he loves, his mother and his precious wife. And at this moment, I would like to share that it is a wonderful opportunity to be sitting here with you right now, Keisha, because not only are you a shining star, but you actually come from a galaxy of shining stars in being Tori Newsome, attorney Tori Newsome, local Lake County lawyer here in Lake County. I have to really share that I'm so impressed that I read this book, and the inspiration of this book, what I believe the inspiration really came from, is from this man that was pursuing a dream, already had a full-time job, but was pursuing the dream of going to law school. So he encouraged his children to keep journals and to write to him so that he can keep up on their life. And so it's just really an amazing situation that has occurred here that just really shows us that all things really, really do work together
Yes.
for the good,
Absolutely.
for those according to God's purpose.
Absolutely.
So, without delving too much into all, because we don't want to give everything away. We want you. We
Right.
want you to to buy the book and to still stay in contact with Keisha, because I do believe that she will be writing more. I mean,
Yeah.
just the way this book is such an easy read, I'm sure you're going to enjoy whatever she has in store for us. So just share with us now. You're with this guy. He's, got this big mind control thing going on, and you continue to what you feel be hurt by your dad. When here you call one time, and I'm just, hearing, your dad's voice. This is not this is not the T that I know. When you called, and again, I'm just, amazed at, the story that you have to share. So just, in the midst of that heated 7 years, just kind of share with us some things that happened.
Well, you know, all the while that I was going through this situation, there were always like little glimmers of hope,
Okay.
where the Lord was letting me know, I got you, I'm watching you. And even though I may not have known it, He, when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, that was Him letting me know. For instance, like with the incident where I had to walk in the
Mm-hmm.
100-degree weather, and then on the way back when I stopped at the fast food place and the woman gave me that cup of water,
Wow.
that was, in that moment I know that was God saying, I see you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching over you and I'm taking care of you.
Wow.
And my dad, when he was saying that to me, he wasn't saying, you're not my daughter, because you left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's like, this is not Keish.
Exactly.
This is not the Keish I know. She
Right.
wouldn't do this.
Right.
And I wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that a lot of people don't understand when they
Exactly.
look at domestic violence situations. They all, how come you didn't leave? How come you didn't just leave?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't just leave. It's
Exactly.
not that easy. It's not that
Right.
simple as, you know what, bye, see ya, I'm
Mm-hmm.
leaving. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work that way.
Yeah, because it just reminds me of like when your self-esteem is like really low, and then you feel like this is, the only person that you have that understands you, or is that, is taking you in and making you a part of their life so that you can have what you imagine to be a good life. You settle for it. Like many ladies, they settle for it. They think that this is what, this is their lot. This is what they are supposed to accept. But again, you come from such a great
Right.
galaxy, Keisha. It's just amazing that I'm sure you just had all these different events and stuff just playing in the back of your head, and just, reminding you this is not, for me. So despite
Right.
all the mind control that was kind of occurring, how did you break free?
Well, um, he was so abusive in every sense of the word abuse,
Yeah.
emotionally, physically, and mentally, and even spiritually. Because early on, he took
Mhm.
my Bible, and I mentioned that, and he's like, you're not worthy. And, you know, I was afraid of him.
Mhm.
So that's one thing, the isolation, and then, the scare tactics, the
Mhm.
physical abuse. So you already know what this person is capable of doing. So then it becomes like a survival
Mhm.
mechanism. Like, I'm going to do what he says do because I don't want to get what's on the other side of, me
Right.
not being obedient, so to speak.
Right.
So when he would say, certain things, it's like, I know that I don't deserve this,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I didn't want what he would say. He always would threaten me with, doing harm to my family.
Mhm.
So who wants to live with the guilt of knowing that because of something that I did,
Right.
now this is why, my mom's no longer here. This is why my,
Exactly.
my father's no longer here. So I just said,
Right.
you know what, I'm going to deal with this. If this is what, the cards that were dealt to me and I
Mhm.
have to deal with this, I'm going to deal with it because at
Mhm.
least I can rest assured in knowing that my family is okay.
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
already know this person is crazy,
Right.
and I know what he's capable of doing, but I
Mhm.
didn't want my family to be
Right.
harmed.
And we know that the statistics for domestic violence in America is quite high. In fact, in like say 1 in every 5 households there is some form of domestic violence taking place in America right here in our neighborhoods. And it's something that whatever empowerment we can give to a person that's living in that situation, because we see it played out time and time again where a lot of times the woman does end up um, in a fatal dead situation because of the different things, as you've heard Keisha share. You know, they threaten to hurt someone close to them, like their mother, their father, or just turn their world all upside down where they just feel like they can't put it back together again unless this person stays in their life. One of the things that I love about the book, Keisha has an excellent section on so many areas where you can get help, not only for someone that you may see going through the situation, but in the book is several national resources as well as local resources, going down to a domestic violence hotline. Um, Without entertaining anything to make you like cry or anything, Keisha, can you just share with us one of the times where you thought that that was going to be it for you?
Um, well, I would say the worst of the worst when I really just knew this is it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was ready. And it was towards the end of the time that I was there, and I had left and I came back. I left. See, we didn't mention that he made me give birth to my son at home by myself.
Okay.
And so when I got
Now how does
pregnant,
that happen? How does Okay, so take us through that a little bit there. How does that happen? How
so
did that happen?
so I get pregnant, and early on he told me, well, you're not going to the hospital to have this baby. And
Okay.
I'm thinking he's just talking,
Right,
like
right,
nobody does that.
right.
So when the day came and I went into labor and he's not moving,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm
Wow.
like,
So had you gone through a whole 9 months without prenatal care?
I went through like the first 4 or 5 months just till I had my ultrasound to find out what the sex was.
Oh,
And he
wow.
went to that visit with me,
Okay.
and after that he wouldn't allow me to go anymore when he found out he was having a son.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so something said, you better do some research,
Mm-hmm.
about this, just in case he is,
Saying
telling the
that,
truth,
yeah, that you're not going to have the baby
Right.
in the hospital.
So,
Okay.
there's nowhere on the internet where you can find that says this is what you do, one,
Right.
two, three,
Wow.
to have this baby. But there were instances where if there's an emergency, this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to kind of piece things together. And, I
Wow.
had already given birth to my daughter. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew how it worked. I knew what to expect with the contractions and, things
Wow.
like that. So,
And because of the, just interjecting real quick, so
mhm.
because of the mind control, and again, this is being in the fire in this 7 year relationship, because of the mind control, you didn't have a heart to, you didn't have enough courage or say, I'm gonna call my father.
I didn't have even access to a phone.
Okay, so
So
everything was
I couldn't
okay.
call,
Wow.
and all the things that you would say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do
Mhm.
that? I
Mhm.
didn't have those options. I
Wow.
couldn't do that.
Okay.
He removed everything,
I remember the one time that you shared that you were at a park. You guys were at a park, and just one other person came to the park, and immediately you
Right, we
had
had
to
to leave.
leave. Wow.
I couldn't, if we're in a
Okay.
grocery store and somebody says hello, the cashier, if I
Mhm.
spoke back, then I'm in trouble, and
Wow.
it's like,
Did you
he,
know in the middle of that? Did you know, were you already inspired to write the book when you were in the middle of that, or did you think that you were not going to come out of it?
I didn't really see me coming out of it.
Wow.
I really didn't, to be
Okay.
honest with you. There were nights that I would, you know, cry myself to sleep, um, just praying and asking God, don't allow me to wake up in the morning. Like,
Okay.
I just don't want to wake up.
Wow.
And I would say that I was probably suicidal, but not from the standpoint where I wanted to take my own life, but towards the end, I would try to provoke him
Mhm.
because I'm like, well, if he kills me, then he can put me out of my misery,
Mhm.
and then he'll go to prison, and my children can go to my parents, and they don't have to live in that sort of situation anymore
Mhm.
because I just didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't
Right.
know.
Right.
And I couldn't take one more day. I
Mhm.
couldn't do it.
Mhm.
So,
Wow. So I wanted to just again just share that I am sitting here with local Lake County, Illinois Shining Star. One of our first authors on our show here, Shining Stars, T.S. Newsome. I know her as Keisha. It is a wonderful opportunity just to share with those that are watching and that will share this time that we're having right now. This is a young woman that has been successful in coming out of a very drastic domestic violence situation without going step by step into the different things that she experienced, being one of them having to give birth to a baby at home without any emergency assistance, but just right there in the confines of where she was. This is all um, a wonderful testimony because she's written a book about it. And Keisha, what I would like for you to do now is just to kind of look into the camera and just kind of share with those that may be watching. Number one, you know, without having to, relive too much of what you went through, because I feel it still, I mean, it's like, you can just feel those things. And I never like to give any credit to an offender. But I would like for you to just really share, what, someone out there that may share this video with one of their friends that they suspect may be going through something like this, their friend or their loved one. you know, Girl, you wrote this book and this is just one of many. You come from an awesome family and there are great things for you. I'm so proud of you and just honored to, have you just share right now from your heart from, okay, this happened to me. I wrote this book. Share just, some of your testimony. Just go ahead and look at the camera.
well, I just want to say that um, when when you go through something, any sort of traumatic experience, I realize now that it is just a stepping stone for
Mm-hmm.
where God is taking you. And I'm so glad that He chose me to go through this situation because now I can be a voice to help anyone who's going through a situation like this.
Mm-hmm.
And unless someone goes through the situation and
Mm-hmm.
comes out of it victorious like I did, who do we have to look up to help us
Right.
when the time arises? So I'm so glad that He chose me. And I'm so glad that um, He is allowing me to be a voice in this topic. I was gone for 7 years away from my family. And when I came home, they just welcomed me with open arms. So if you do know someone that is, in an abusive situation, I would say just support them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at them like they're not thinking the way you're thinking. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't see the situation like you see the situation
Mm-hmm.
because whatever it is, fear or the mind control, all of those things, it cripples you mentally. So you don't have
Yeah.
any control over.
And
Uh,
and so are you saying that if for someone that has someone that they know are in a situation that they suspect, it's not a girl snap out of it. That's what you're saying.
exactly.
You can't snap out of it. It's a
Yes.
process.
It is.
And
It is.
so yeah.
And I think that what it was for me was on April 27, 2009, when I was reading that Paula Deen cookbook
Wow.
and I read those words, I decided enough was enough and I was taking my life back.
Mm.
My mom had said to me, when you get tired, you'll
Mhm.
leave.
Okay.
When you get tired. And I was fed up. I didn't want to live like that and I didn't want my children to grow up thinking that my daughter, I didn't want her to grow up thinking that that's what she deserved.
Right.
And I didn't want my son thinking that that's the way that he should treat a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that there was something that needed to be done. I just didn't know what it was.
Wow.
And when I read those words, I knew that that was the Lord talking to me. And if I wasn't raised in the church, all my life, um, I don't know, but in that moment, I'm like, if you are the God that I know,
Mm-hmm.
if you are the God that I grew up learning about, get me up out of this situation.
Help me.
And if you do give me a way of escape, I'll serve you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll raise my children to do the same.
Wonderful.
I'll do that. And in less than 24 hours, when he brought me home,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's it. That's it.
Oh, wonderful.
You do this for me,
Mm-hmm.
then my life is yours. It belongs to you.
That's awesome.
So that just set in motion everything that this course that I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would think that just because I came home, in less than 24 hours, like, oh, I'm good, But it was a process.
It was a process.
I didn't want people to know what I went through.
Exactly.
People,
Exactly.
I don't want to be judged like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
what is wrong with you? Have you lost your
Mm-hmm.
mind? How could you allow somebody to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 6 years. When I came home, the Lord gave me the title of the book and said that
Wow.
you were going
Tried
to write
in
a
the
book, and I
fire.
was like,
Wow.
no.
Wow.
And it took me 6 years.
And you did it. You did it. So I just want to read some of the success real quick as we come to an end here. Again, tried in the fire. It's been a wonderful opportunity just to share and to show this to you. But Keisha took the time not only to have a dedication portion in there that her father did, but you've got to know that when you order this book, you're going to learn not only about the biggest mistakes in her life, you're going to learn about how God's love prevails in 24 hours and breaking the ties and those thoughts and reflections that goes into helping a person, again, that you may know if it's not you yourself, to really stand strong and to come out of a situation. She did it. She did it, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm so happy that we have her today on our show. And again, her book, T.S. Newsome, by T.S. Newsome, is Tried in the Fire, My Story of True Redemption. Get the book, save a life, share it, do whatever you may. Keisha, just a few final thoughts. Look one more time at the camera. It's just like I just like to see it as a personal time where you could actually really be helping save someone's life at this very moment.
I have come across a lot of people who are in abusive situations, and I never tell them, you gotta leave, you gotta get out, because I didn't allow anyone to tell me that. So all I would say is just listen to that still small voice on the inside that is telling you that he loves you. That's God. That's the Holy Spirit that's speaking to you, telling you that this is not the life that he has planned for you, but rather he has a purpose and a plan that is greater than this, that he wants you to fulfill. So whatever steps that you have to take to get out of your situation, just do it and know that he's backing you. Just know that he's behind you 100%. If you don't have anyone else that you can count on, you can count on him. He's got you. So I just want to say thank you, and I love you, and I just want to tell my parents I love you so much. And I almost made it through this interview without crying, but
Yes.
I just love you guys so much. Thank
That's
you so
right.
much for supporting me. You never turn your back on me.
That's right.
You've always been there for me and loved me, and I will be the same example to my children.
That's right.
You've shown me what unconditional love is,
That's
and
right.
I will forever be grateful to you for everything that you've done for me. And my brothers, Malcolm and Ronzel, I love you both. You've been by my side since day one, never turning your back on me, and I just love you guys so much. Everyone that helped me and my family during
That's
this
right.
time, I just want to thank you guys so much, and I love you. and I'm doing this.
That's right.
I'm
She's
doing
done.
this.
That's right. Good job. Good job. And that's why, as I sat here as the host and, looking in T.S. Newsome, in Keisha's eyes as we did this interview, sometimes it can be a whole 20 years before someone can really be over a huge situation. But as we've been able to just step into a small part here to learn about Tried in the Fire, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing this story. Thank you for ordering the book. I am Shantal Taylor, the host of Shining Stars, and we've had an awesome guest today, T.S. Newsome, also known as Keisha Newsome. Great
Thank you.
job, Keisha.
Thank you so much.
Good job. Very good job.